Hello, this is Pure Science Education. Today we will be learning on how to calculate relative formula mass. To calculate relative formula mass, we need to find out the numbers on the elements. So when you see the element in a periodic table, you normally see it has two numbers on there, 23 and 11. So if you look at 23, that is called the mass number, and 11 is called the proton number or atomic number. Now, the 23 is made of proton plus neutron number, and 11 is number of electrons, which is equal to the number of protons. So, in order to calculate the relative formula mass, we are going to need the mass number. So let's start with a simple example to calculate relative formula mass of hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen is 1, chlorine is 35.5, and because we have one of each as is a number, we need to just do 1 plus 35.5 gives you 36.5. Another example will be CuCO3, which is copper carbonate. Now Cu is equal to 63.5, C is carbon, which is 12, oxygen is 16. All these numbers can be found on the elements in your periodic table. So just to break this down, you have one of this and one of this. So you that do 1 times 63.5 plus 1 times 12. Now you have got 3 oxygens here, so you need to do 16 times 3. If you then add them all up, you end up with 123.5. So the relative atomic mass for copper carbonate is 123.5. If we carry on with relative formula mass of barium hydroxide, now this time you will notice I have a 2 outside OH, which represents I have 2 times oxygen and 2 times hydrogen. So let's have a look at calculating that. So Ba is 137, H is 1, oxygen is 16. So 137 plus, remember, 2 times oxygen, 16 times 2, plus go 2 times 1. If you add them all up, you'll get 171. So the rule here is, if you have something in a bracket, you need to multiply the whole bracket with the number that's outside the bracket. To carry on a different example, let's do relative formula mass of lithium sulfate. So this time Li is 7, S is 32, O is 16. So remember, Li has the 2 So that means you need to do 7 times 2 plus that sodium doesn't have it, sulfur doesn't have anything, sorry, so you need to just do 32 times 1. Now remember, oxygen you have 4, so you do 16 times 4. If you add all of these up, you get 110. Let me show you a slightly complicated example. This time we're going to do relative formula mass of NH4 CO3. N is 14, H is 1, C is 12, O is 16. Now this time the 2 is sitting outside here, so we need to be 2 times in the whole bracket. So we go with 14 times 2 because there's only one of them. Now because we got 4 hydrogens already, that means 4 2s are 8, so we got 1 times 8. Now carbon, because you don't have anything in it, is 1, so you just got 1 times 12. Plus this time you have got 3 oxygens, so you do 16 times 3. If you add all of that, you end up with 96. And I'll show you one more complex example. You do the relative formula mass of Al2SO4. So remember again, you got this to multiply with this bracket, and let's go. So Al is 27, S is 32, O is 16. So I have 2 Al. I'm going to do 27 times 2. I have only got 1 S, so do 1 times 32. But remember, I've got 3 outside the bracket. That means this will become 32 times 3. Plus, I now have 4 3s are 12. I have 16 times 12 oxygens. The total will be 342. So just to run you through this again one more time, Al is 2, so I got 27 times 2. Remember, even though I got 1 sulfur, but because I got 3 outside the bracket, that gives you 3 there, and 4 3s are 12, that gives you 12 there. Now, I'm going to ask you to see if you can resolve this problem. So let's have a go. Can you calculate the relative formula mass of sodium nitrate? Sodium is equal to 23, nitrogen is 14, and oxygen is 16. So let's pause and see if you can do this. So I hope you have long enough to calculate this. So this time you have got 1 times 23 plus 1 times 14 plus 3 times 16, which gives you 85. I hope you found the video on calculating relative formula mass useful. So you will subscribe to the link and do a like for it. Thank you.